This is Austin Theory, and you're listening to the Babyfaces Podcast only on iHeartRadio.
This is WWE Superstar Grayson Waller, and you are listening to the Babyfaces on iHeartRadio.
What's going on, y'all? It's WWE Superstar Kofi Kingston, and you're listening to the Babyfaces on iHeartRadio, baby!
WWE's Friday Night Smackdown is coming to Cincinnati next Friday, and it's going to be a big one because it's going to be the first night of the draft. So an awesome time to get down there to Smackdown. Just a short drive down 71 for us here in Louisville, like me and Austin. I make that drive all the time because I'm from up in that area. So nice, easy drive. Get your tickets for that show and see all your favorite superstars, including the one that we are welcoming on the podcast today. Her name is Jade Cargill. Jade, thanks so much for taking the time today.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And, we are hot off the heels of Wrestlemania, the biggest Wrestlemania of all time, which was your first one, my first one that I attended. It was incredible seeing all that in person. And I can only imagine what that's like being a performer on that big stage, right? You've been in wrestling for a while now, but your first time at Wrestlemania, just kind of give us the deep dive on all that went into that.
It was amazing. I've never been in front of that many people in my life for any type of performance. The bigger, the better for me, though. More people, the more I can get into myself, the more I'm going to act up and go crazy on the stage. It was my first time as well at that. I've never attended a WrestleMania. I always was a viewer at home. So for me to be there on stage in front of that many people, in front of a bunch of people backstage that wanted to see me do amazing and go out there and excel. It was something that I have never been a part of. And the fan base, the WWE universe, it was just something that is unmatched.
Yeah, when you talk about moments that you've had here in the WWE, they've kept you very close to the vest and for very much good reason. I mean, you look at yourself and we could just even see, like, I'm pretty sure you're probably tired of hearing it, star written all over you. And the WWE kind of always has known how to present them. You made your debut at the Royal Rumble, and you had, of course, they even had the mix up of Impact wrestlers, TNA wrestlers, and you faced off with Bianca Belair. And then you ended up having a moment with her at WrestleMania. So, what was that like, sort of? I mean, you sort of just got thrusted into it, and you're at some of the biggest, pay-per-views. So you had the Rumble, and then you have Mania, and then you have the Smackdown leading up to Mania. So, like, what has that been like with your selective appearances that they had, that they've made it mean so much more than when you're on TV?
You know what? We had a plan. We stuck to the plan. Mania was never in the plan, so it was just sprung up on me. This is working with Bianca has been a dream because this is somebody that everybody pinned against each other. Everybody wanted to see us more so against one another rather than working with one another. And like I told everybody, just trust the plan. Like, best believe everything is written. They have things planned out for weeks and months in advance. So just like everybody, just stay patient, as well as the things I'm doing right now. There's a plan to everything we're doing. You don't think all this is thought out, especially with me. They want to present me in the best way possible, like they have been doing, and they want me to go out there and excel and kill the business because they know I can do that, and they're trusting to put me out there to do these things. But it's been great. I mean, they follow through with the plans. I have a great relationship with Nick, and I have a great relationship with Paul, and we're sticking to the plan.
Yeah, that's great to hear. And you mentioned Bianca. A lot of people put you guys together as a possible WrestleMania match. You end up teaming together, but there's got to be a lot of, it's a lot of fresh blood out there for you being a new superstar in WWE. So, like, what are some of those females that you want to get in there with? Like, maybe name drop a few dream matches that you got that could be on the docket here soon.
I have some unfinished business with Nia Jax. So that would be great. I think that would be an amazing match. The Rhea Ripley's, obviously she's injured right now, but I know she's going to come back gunning, and hopefully I'm holding that belt when she comes back. Because one thing I know is how to hold a streak down and how to go out there and dominate and to kick butts left and right. So that would be a great match as well. Eventually, if things don't work out, I think we're doing phenomenal right now. Bianca, that's something that people have always wanted to see, and us just working alongside each other right now in the same ring at that with Naomi, and we all were a part of different promotions as of last year. It's a phenomenal thing to see.
You know, we talked about Cincinnati Friday Night Smackdown next week. It's a big one because it's the draft, and that's always been a fun thing that the WWE has added on, which superstars are going to go where. Yeah, I know with you probably being a lifelong wrestling fan, there's probably always that thought, I would love to be on Monday Night Raw. It's the longest running episodic TV show ever. But then you have Friday Night Smackdown, which has creeped up in the last couple of years as the really big show that everyone wants to watch, even though it's on Friday night. So working on Monday, working on Friday, where do you hope that you go next week?
Wherever it sends me, I'll be fine either or. I wasn't thinking that I was going to be at SmackDown initially, and it worked out that way, and I love SmackDown. The locker room is phenomenal. But I wouldn't mind busting up at Raw and showing them what I'm about as well. Either or is fine with me. I love my Fridays, though. I will say that. But then again, I love my Mondays. So
right.
Either or, as long as I have a schedule, I'm fine with that. If they need me to do both shows, I'll do both shows because I feel like I'm eventually am. So whoever wants me, come get me.
Love it. There's the sales pitch right there. Go get Jade.
Right.
So, you talked about the locker room. You were in a different promotion in the last couple of years. You're in WWE now. Like what's been the locker room morale like? Like all we hear on the outside is it's such a better like atmosphere nowadays than it has been in the past. So just what's been your experience with that?
The locker room here, the women are very supportive. They want to see everybody win. They want to just keep on like topping on each other. Like, okay, you had a great match. It's very competitive in a healthy way. It's like, you had a great match. I'm gonna go out there and have a phenomenal match. And then next person's like, I'm gonna have one better than that. So everybody's just trying to outdo the other in a very healthy way because we want to put on for women's sports right now. We have the best women's locker room that could ever happen right now. And they've all put in work. They've all worked with one another. Being that I'm the new person on the block, they just want to see me succeed. Everybody's supportive. Everybody's like, what you need. Like, if anything is going wrong, like my first match on Raw, actually, I was having a little mini meltdown, and everybody came to me and was just like, what do you need? Like, if you need this, you need to lace up your boots, I got you. You need to take off your boots, I got you. Everybody's just very supportive. It's a very healthy locker room, very experienced locker room. And everybody just wants everybody to go out there and excel because we're putting on for the next generation, and we're trying to show, not trying, but we're out there doing it and showing why this is the best locker room in women's wrestling.
We talk about your presentation, and like Billy mentioned, we were at Wrestlemania. We had the press box hookup. We even got to hang out with our guy Chuck for a couple minutes. It was an absolute fun time. But it was when you're out there, it was pretty cold, right? It was when you make your entrance. So like I just kind of here's a Mark question for you, Jay. Just as a how much does that play a factor once you get into the ring, an outdoor stadium like that? Now I've always heard that the ring is like heated. Like once you start getting into a match, is it good, or was the Philly weather just kind of cutting through you all night?
When we were going over our entrance initially, that weather and the sun was out at that time. That was cutting through everything, but they put heaters in the ring a little bit. And I think your adrenaline and everything pumping and going, and you out there trying to put on your best. The weather and how cold it was kind of in the background at that point. Me being on the outside for a while, I started feeling it a little more, and I was like, okay, all right. And I just started bouncing around, trying to get warm again. But I knew what I came to do. I knew what we all came to do. So one thing we were trying, I was literally in my mind, and this is how you have to think. I was like, I'm in Miami right now, laid out on the beach. The sun is beaming on me right now, and it's hot. And that's the mindset I had to have, because yes, it was cold. And I can understand why the fans were like dealing with all that coldness, but regardless, they came and they showed up, and they were, the best that they could be. And I appreciate that because it was freezing cold. So once we got in that ring, once we came down off the top where we were, the mindset just switched, and the weather was the last thing in our mind. Sure. Honestly, at the end, everybody was probably like 15 minutes or 20 minutes after, we all were like, oh, it's getting cold now, because that's how focused we were to put on a phenomenal match.
Yeah, I can imagine like a tag team match, maybe a little bit more noticeable because you're not in the ring the whole time, right? You're kind of standing on the
Yeah.
side, like, oh, it's getting
I
a
was
little chilly
getting
out
kind of cold out there for a second. I'm like,
here.
no, I gotta stay warm. And that's what we were talking about. I was like, geez, I'm gonna be so cold on the side for a second. But it was pretty warm in there. It was very warm. And the last thing you thought about was how cold it was. If anything, the fans were probably dealing with so much of that.
Yeah.
So the fact that we were out there for us and they were there all night, there's a difference in the elements there.
Sure.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Well, Jade, this has been awesome. I want to thank you again for taking the time here. Just one more question we'd like to ask all of our wrestlers that are about to come to a show near us for our listeners. You know, maybe there's somebody that's listening right now. It's like, I'd love to go to that show, but maybe kind of on the fence about buying tickets. What's kind of your sales pitch to get people out to SmackDown Friday in Cincinnati?
Come watch me Friday night on Smackdown, April 26th at the Heritage Bank Arena. There's a limited amount of tickets, but hey, you can come still see Jade Cargill do her thing and kill it. And come see where I'm going to be drafted, because obviously I should be on night one for figuring out where they want me to be. But I'm the sales pitch. That's what I'm here for. Come and watch me kicking butt, taking names alongside the great Bianca Belair and the great Naomi, the big three.
Love to see it. And you can see those three women, your favorite SmackDown superstars. I'm sure, you know, Cody Rhodes, everybody been talking about him lately. Sure, he's going to be there, make an appearance. So be sure to get your tickets. You can hit up Ticketmaster.com or wherever you can find your tickets for Friday Night SmackDown in Cincinnati, kind of my hometown area. I don't know if you're driving there.
A little bit.
Yeah.
My spouse played baseball. For
that dude,
Okay.
BB. We know Brandon Phillips. Yeah.
I know a lot about Cincinnati, actually.
Okay, you ever seen the Florence Y'all Water Tower in Florence,
Yes.
Kentucky? All right,
Yes.
that's where I'm from, right there.
Nice.
Major landmark.
I did have one question about that, because we're talking about an all-star Cincinnati Red right there, Brandon Phillips, and what an awesome guy that he is. And you guys are just two ferocious athletes. Like, what's that dynamic living like? I can only imagine. I asked this question to Montez Ford when we're talking about Bianca. Like, is there competition on the daily? Do you get jealous of things that he can do? Does he get jealous of things that you can do? Or
we're a very competitive family. Our daughter has that right now, where she gets upset and she'll just drop everything if she's losing. It's kind of crazy. So we're trying to figure that out right now. But he's more competitive than I am. I'm competitive, but I know when I'm outmatched, and I'm like, okay, all right. He's the type of person where he's like consistent, like no, and he'll keep trying and trying and trying, and I love that about him. But you know, when he played baseball, I was in the background. I was doing what I had to do in the background because this is his realm. Now that it's wrestling, this is my realm. He's in the background just supporting me at home and making sure that everything is good so I can go out there and perform the best way I can. And one thing he knows how to do is entertain. So me watching him entertain and be himself and be crazy. And if you guys are from Cincinnati, then you know what kind of person he is. And watch him be himself and take it all in. You know, it was a great example for me in this career.
Love to see it. Well, hey, Jade, you take care, and we'll see you the next Friday in Cincy for SmackDown.
All right, let's go. Draft night 1.